Hello students, I am Raghavendra Kumar Singh, faculty of US Academy and Institute. Today we will discuss class 10th Geography's third chapter, Water Resources. In this chapter we will discuss the availability of fresh water on earth and how the situation of scarcity of water generates. The pros and cons of constructing dams on rivers, and about the rainwater harvesting system, which means as a means to conserve water resources. As we know from the earlier classes, 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered with water, but only a small portion of it accounts for fresh water that can be put to use. Water is renewable resources. 96.5% of the total water of world is estimated to exist as ocean, and only 2.5% exist as fresh water. 70% of the fresh water occurs as ice sheets and glaciers in Antarctica, Greenland, and the mountain regions of the world. Less than 30% of stored as groundwater in the world's aquifer. Fresh water is mainly obtained from surface runoff and groundwater. This is continually being renewed and recharged through the hydrological cycle. All the water move within the hydrological cycle, making water a renewable resource. Three freshwater sources are precipitation from rainfall, surface water, and in river or lakes. Groundwater, which was stored in underground aquifers, which gets recharged by rainfall. Now about the water scarcity. Water scarcity means shortage of water. It is usually associated with regions having low rainfall or drought-prone areas. There are many other reasons which leads to scarcity of water. Large growing population in the agriculture sector. Water resources are being over-exploited to expand irrigated areas and dry season agriculture. More water acquired for irrigation purposes to facilitate higher food production, that is, for doing multiple cropping system and for higher yielding seeds. There is greater demand for water with growing urbanization and industrialization, and unequal access to water among different social groups. The quality of water is deteriorating, that is getting polluted by domestic and industrial waste, chemical fertilizers, and pesticides used in agriculture. Excessive use of water by industries, which also acquire water to generate hydroelectricity to run them, and over-exploitation of water in the urban areas. Water scarcity is caused by exploitation, excess use, and unequal access to water among different social groups. Water resources are being over-exploited to expand irrigated areas for dry season agriculture. In some areas, water is sufficient available to meet the need of the people, but those areas still suffer from water scarcity due to bad quality of water. Adverse effect of over-exploitation of groundwater resources. Pumping out more water from under the ground may lead to falling groundwater level. It will adversely affect water availability. This in turn will affect our agriculture and food security of the peoples. Impoverishment of water resources may adversely affect the ecological system. Main causes of water pollution are domestic waste, especially in urban sewers. Industrial waste are disposed of in the water without proper treatment. Chemical effluent from industries and from agricultural sector, and many human activities, for example religious rituals and emerging of idols, etc., in the water also polluted water. The need of the hour is to conserve and manage our water resources, to safeguard ourselves from health hazard, to ensure food security, continuation of our livelihood and productive activities, to prevent degradation of our natural ecosystem. Measures for water conservation. Do not overdraw the groundwater. Recharges it by techniques like rainwater harvesting, tapping rainwater in reservoir, watershed development program, etc. Multiple purpose river project and irrigated water resources management. In ancient time, we used to conserve water by constructing sophisticated hydraulic structure like dams built of stones, rivers, reservoirs or lakes, embankment and canals for irrigation. We have continued this tradition in modern India by building dams in most of our river basins to avoid wastage of water at all level and do not pollute the water. Adopting water conserving techniques of irrigation, for example drip irrigation and a sprinkler system, especially in dry areas. A dam is a barrier across flowing water that obstruct, direct or retard the flow, creating a reservoir, lake or impoundment. A dam is the reservoir and not the whole structure. Jawaharlal Nehru proclaimed that multi-purpose projects are the temples of modern India because they were thought of as the vehicle that would lead the nation to development and progress. He believed that these projects, with their integrated water resource management approach, would resource integrated development of agriculture and the village economy with the rapid industrialization and growth of the urban economy. Dams. A dam is a barrier across flowing water that obstruct, direct or retard the flow, often creating a reservoir, lake or impoundment. Dams refers to the reservoir rather than the structure. Now the uses of dam. Dams are built to impound river and rainwater that can be used later to irrigate agricultural field, for electricity generation, water supply for domestic and industrial uses, flood control, recreation, inland navigation and fish breeding. Advantages. They bring water to those areas which suffers from water scarcity and also provide water for irrigation. These projects generate electricity for industries and our homes. They help in controlling floods These projects can be used for recreation, inland navigation, and fish breeding. Disadvantage: damming of rivers affect their natural flow, causing poor sediment flow. Excessive sedimentation at the bottom of the reservoir. Lack of sediment result in a rockier stream bed and poorer habitat for the river aquatic life. The reservoirs submerged existence, vegetation, and soil, leading to its decomposition over time. They affect the fertility level of the soil, cause large scale displacement of local communities. Side effects of the creating dams. Regulating and damming of rivers affect the natural flow, poorer the habitat for the river aquatic life, fragment rivers, making it difficult to aquatic fauna to migrate. Dams created on the floodplains submerge the existing vegetation and soil, leading to its decomposition over a period of time. Creating of large dams has been the cause of many new environmental movements like the Narmada Bachao Andolan and the Tehri Dam Andolan, etc. Many times local peoples had to give up their lands, livelihood, and their control over resources for the construction of the dams. Most of the objectives to the project arose due to their failure to achievement the purpose for which they were built. Most of the dams were constructed to control flood, but these dams have triggered floods. Dams have also caused extensive soil erosion. Excessive use of water has resulted in earthquake, caused waterborne disease and pests and pollutions. Now, rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting is a simple method by which rainfall is collected for future uses. The collected water may be stored, utilized in different ways, or directly used for recharge purposes. Traditional rainwater harvesting method practiced in different parts of the country. In mountain areas, gulls and quills, the diversion channels were built by agricultural. Rooftop water harvesting was commonly practiced to store drinking water, especially in Rajasthan. Inundation channels for irrigation were developed in the floodplains of West Bengal. In arid and semi-arid areas, agricultural fields were converted into rain-fed storage structure. For example, khadims in Jaisalmer and johats in other parts of the Rajasthan. In semi-arid and arid regions of Rajasthan, particularly in Bikaner, Fuladi, and Banner, all the houses had underground tanks or tankas built inside the house for storing drinking water. They were a part of well-developed rooftop rainwater harvesting system. Narmada Bachao Andolan or Save Narmada movement is an NGO that mobilizes tribals, peoples, farmers, environmentalists, and human rights activities against the Sardar Sarovar Dam being built across the Narmada River in Gujarat. The movement originated focused on environmental issues related to submerging of trees under the dam water. Recently, its aim has been to enable the displaced poor peoples to get full rehabilitation facility from the government. Different methods have been adopted in different areas for rainwater harvesting. In hilly and mountain regions, people built diversion channels, but in western Himalayas, for agricultural, rooftop rainwater harvesting system is commonly practiced to store drinking water. Particularly in Rajasthan and Bengal, people develop inundation channels to irrigate their fields. But in different areas, mainly practiced in Rajasthan, particularly in Bikaner, Phalodi and Barmer, areas for saving the water. Many houses constructed underground rooms adjoining the tankas to beat the summer heat, as it would keep the room cool. In Tamil Nadu, Tamil Nadu is the first state in India which has made rooftop rainwater harvesting structure compulsory to all the houses across the states. There are legal provisions to punish the defaulters.